Here's what I think of the last 5 whiskeys I bought and how I would rank them. Stick around. What's up guys, Jeff coming to you from the 18, and today we're going to be going over the last 5 whiskeys that I bought. Now the way this works is we're going to be going over each one, discussing some tasting notes, some thoughts, and I'll give you the score. These are all going to be single malt scotches. The way this works is we're going to start with my least favorite, work our way up to my favorite. For the record though, none of these are bad. They're all really solid scotches. That's why I bought them, but something's got to get stuck in the back end. As always, I do have a mystery pour in the glass. Make sure you stick around to the end of the video. I'll share with you what that is. Your hint for today is that this is a Diageo whiskey from a relatively new brand. Their first release, I think, was 2023. Blew me away, so I was definitely very keen to come back to the brand. I've got a pour in my glass, so again, stick around for that. And I suppose that's it for our intro. Let's jump into our rankings. In the meantime, if you'll kindly leave a like down below, that'd be greatly appreciated. Okay, at the back of this list, we have a Kilchoman. More specifically, I've got the 100% Islay 11-year-old sherried Kilchoman. This is a new release from 2025, so last year. Excellent stuff. As the name implies, this is made 100% on Islay from farm to bottle. As they say, the 100% Islay line is less peated than your standard Kilchomans. As with every Kilchoman, this is going to be fully craft, so non-chill filtered, natural color, and I think our ABV here is 50%. The entire maturation for this stuff happened in 16 Oloroso sherry casks, and pretty much right away on the nose, that sherry comes out loud and clear. The nose also gives us some red fruit, some Christmas spices. We get a touch of oak in here, as well as a certain meaty quality, kind of like grilled meats. Onto the palate and finish is going to be full flavored and mouth coating. It is salty, it is savory with those meaty notes up front. Then towards the finish, more sherry comes. We get some oak, we get some chili spices, along with that classic ashy Kilchoman peat. All right, so this is a damn good whiskey, and it is different. I like that they're expanding outwards with the 100% Islay line. I think it's a great line. I like the lighter touch of peat, the lighter touch of smoke in this series. And if you want something less cask driven, definitely go for the annual releases. But if you're interested in seeing a rolled back, less smoky Kilchoman with a bold cask influence, this is it. This gives us balance, it gives us richness, we get plenty of boldness from the casks. It's still a smoky whiskey, just a little bit dialed back from your standard Kilchoman. Maybe not the most complex whiskey, but really just fun, dramatic flavors in here that are well executed. We have a nice age statement as well. It comes together beautifully. Score is going to be 86 here. Highly recommended. Coming in at number 4, we have the reason you clicked on this video, and that is Macallan 12 110 proof. Very popular bottle. This is one that I was really excited to try for a long time. Tough to find in my market, but luckily I had a buddy mule this bottle over from the US, so Michael, thank you very much. Now, the first thing I want to say about this is kudos to Macallan. This is a brand that's usually criticized for their high prices, their low ABVs, and rightly so, but having something like this on the market does make me feel a little bit better about the brand. It feels like an olive branch to the enthusiast community. And what's great about this bottle in particular is that it is the OB house style, but it's cranked up, because most enthusiasts will say don't bother with the OB line, which makes sense because you can buy Macallans, IB Macallans out there, independent bottlings that are, higher ABV, fully natural, and of course that's better. But a lot of those tend to lean very heavily into the sherry casks, or very active casks. The OB line, yes, it is sherry forward. Yes, they're sherried whiskeys, but they do have a certain amount of restraint. And that's why I really like the OB house style in particular. On the nose, this gives us a very classic Macallan profile, which to me is always sherry, its baking spices, and its orange rind. And that translates directly onto the palate and finish. Of course, the sherry, the baking spices, the orange rind are back again, along with some white pepper, roasted nuts, cacao, and we have a long finish lingering on that wonderful orange note. All right, so this one is not a surprise. It tastes how you would expect it to taste, but that is not an issue. That is not a bad thing, because I have been pining for an OB Macallan that is amped up, and this is exactly what the doctor ordered. Actually, the doctor ordered me to drink less. Anyway, score here is 87. This tastes like a Macallan should. I hope we get more releases like this down the line. Absolute banger, worth a pickup. All right, coming in at number 3, we've got a whiskey that I wasn't sure I'd like. I bought it on a whim, which is something I don't usually do, but it worked out beautifully. What I've got here is the Balvenie 18-year-old PX cask. So first off, I'm not usually a big PX fan, and I'm honestly not the biggest Balvenie fan either, but what I am is an open-minded fella, so I did take a chance on this one, and I'm glad that I did. This is matured in new American oak casks. It's finished in PX casks, 48.7%. Now, I believe this to be non-chill filtered and natural color, but I can't be sure, but yeah, seems promising. On the nose, we start off with some pretty forward sherry notes, but they don't lean too sweet. So if I didn't know any better, I'd actually guess this is Oloroso cask matured. We get vanilla in here, we get berry jam, there's some marmalade, there is some malt, there's some orchard fruits in here, and it's even a little bit tangy. The arrival here gives us pepper, nuts, berries, dried fruits, and a touch of tannins. Then we move on to some richer notes of Christmas cake, cherries, chocolate, nuts, vanilla, and a bit of cinnamon. So good flavors in here, and this one surprised me because it's a really nice, well-aged, complex sherried whiskey. We do get the Balvenie profile, the house style is there. The sherry is definitely present and the sherry is forward, but it's surprisingly restrained. What I mean by that is that yes, it's sherry forward, but it's not too loud. We have some nuance, we have some delicacy in here. It is mature, it is balanced, it is not a drama queen. And that's the issue that I often have with PX casks, is that they tend to be sweet and over the top, and that is very much not the case here. I was not expecting to enjoy a PX finished Balvenie as much as I am. Really good stuff. Score will go with 88 here. Phenomenal stuff, definitely worth checking out. All right, number 2 is going to be similar but different. Similar in the sense that it is a well-aged whiskey with some PX casks that work, albeit not as a finish, but very different in its execution. I've got Bladnoch 19 here. All right, so first off, what I'm drinking may not be the same as what you're drinking because this is an annual release, and to be honest, I don't know how much it differs from year to year, but the one I've got here is the 2023 release. So what do we need to know about this stuff? Well, obviously it's very well aged. It's fully natural, so non-chill filtered natural color. What is our ABV here? It is 46.7%. This is a full PX maturation, which did initially make me nervous, but you see this right here? It's this section. On the nose, we get sherry, and it is not subtle. It is sweet, it is rich, it is lush. We get syrup, like a berry syrup, cherry syrup, that kind of thing. There's loads of prunes in here, there's dates, and there's even a touch of that cheesy Bladnoch funk that I love. The palate and finish give us a rich texture. We get loads of jammy, syrupy berries and cherries again. The oak here is beautifully integrated around that lush fruitiness, and once again, we get that Bladnoch funk. All right, this stuff is excellent. It is absolutely loaded with flavor and that unique Bladnoch character. The PX is forward, it is lush, but it's also integrated around that funky distillate. So it comes off as sophisticated, complex, lush, and unique. It's one of those whiskeys that, yes, it is casky in a loud way, but not in a dumb way. It is desserty, it is indulgent. Yeah, I've got loads of adjectives here, but it's a phenomenal whiskey, and my score here is going to be 90. Now, admittedly, this is a pretty expensive whiskey. I was lucky I got this on sale. You might not, but I will say this about it. It is one of those expensive whiskeys that really does taste expensive. And if you're not sold on the flavor, the cap is metal, so there's that. Either way, highly recommended. One of the best Bladnochs I've ever had, to be honest. It is going to be PX forward. You need to be okay with a PX flavor profile, but if you are, I think you're going to love this one. Definitely worth checking out. All right, coming in at number 1, we have my favorite recent purchase, which I didn't actually have to purchase because my buddy Michael provided this once again. Absolute legend. This one is Port Charlotte 18. Okay, so to kick things off, if you didn't know, this is peated whiskey from the Bruichladdich distillery. It is peated at 40 ppm, and it is made using mainland Scottish barley. We've got both bourbon and sherry casks at work here. This is an annual release. I've got the 2025 release, which comes in at 51.5%. Fully natural, non-chill filtered, natural color, and I believe this is the oldest Port Charlotte I've ever had. On the nose, this is complex and defined. We get the classic Port Charlotte peat, which is a little bit funky. It's a little bit industrial. We also get plenty of fruitiness from the sherry casks. I get barbecue sauce, I get strawberries, and I get sweet oranges. The palate and finish here are restrained, smoky, salty, sweet, full, and complex. We get plenty of red fruits in here. We get that Bruichladdich funk. Now, Bruichladdich, prior to, I want to say 2010, had a certain funkiness about it, and that definitely does shine through here. There's honey, leather, salted toffee. It's kind of creamy. We also get some malt, we get some seaweed. It's plenty of notes in here. It's complex, Man, this is good stuff. For me, this is the perfect culmination of age, distillate, and cask, and I absolutely love the peat in here. It is mature, it is restrained, it is not loud, it's not smoky, it's peaty, and just gorgeous. Our sherry here is fruity, it's forward, it adds some sweetness, it adds some layering, it adds some complexity, and it's just so well integrated. I have said this before and I will say it again. I think Port Charlotte, Bruichladdich in general, has some of the best cask play in the industry. So yeah, man, this is just a really good pour of whiskey. It is interesting, it is well composed, it is characterful. I love some of these flavors, the seaweed note, the salty, fruity finish. Score is going to be 91. So obviously very highly recommended. It is not a cheap whiskey, but it can be bought, at least in some places, for less than 200 US. And I think for that price, for what you're getting with this age, how delicious it is, the fact that it's fully craft, all that, I do think it's worth it. So highly recommend picking this one up. All right, that was the list, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. It's all my opinion, of course, and this is the part of the video where I reach out to you and I ask, what are some of your favorite recent purchases? Always keen to hear some recommendations from you guys. Also, what have you tried from today's video? The whiskeys I just talked about. Have you tried any of them? How much did you pay for them? What did you think about them? Put all of that down below. Finally, if you stuck around to find out what the mystery pour in my glass is, I mentioned earlier that this is from a relatively new Diageo distillery. Their first release was in 2023 and it blew me away. What I'm drinking is Rose Isle 14. This is something that I've been very excited to get my hands on, very keen to try this one. I finally popped it with some buddies the other day and I have to say, I'm impressed. Now, I won't go into too much detail about this one today, but you can trust me when I say that I will be talking about this more down the line, and it is an interesting whiskey, so stay tuned. And that brings us to the end of the video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. As always, I look forward to reading your comments, and if you want to help support the channel, which is all me, from scripting to shooting to editing, it's a one-man show. If you want to help out with that, I will put Patreon and PayPal links down below. I've got my patrons over here. As always, they are very good-looking people. And I guess we will catch you in the next video. Bye, guys.